over. That's when your mouse moves over the button. Okay, let's create another button, okay, for when your mouse is clicking, okay, or mouse down. Okay, save that as a down. Okay. Lastly, remember to save the PDF file so you can change it later. Just name it button. Okay, so that's the button created. We're going to create another thing called a banner. So maybe around the same size as the stage with a shorter height, again transparent. Okay, this could be any shape that you like. So let's use the pen tool, and so we can actually sort of draw some silly shapes. Okay, give it a little bit of adjustment to make it more smooth. Okay, and eventually also append to it, so you create a few sort of few things to make it nicer, right? And note that we have some styles here that we can use. Okay, you can actually, you know, apply some of the styles and use it immediately. So let's just use that and export that. There's some spaces, wastage of spaces, so we can actually adjust that canvas size. Okay, what was that? 16 point and a half, right? So 16 and a half. Okay, 16 and a half. So we're gonna sort of make it save some space. Save that file as also a PNG. We'll call that the banner. Okay, now that all the graphics has been created, let's move it into Flash. So we're going to import to the library, which is actually here. Okay, let's import the banner. We'll import the down state, over state, and up state. Okay, so we have to click the banner before we pull the banner in. Okay, so we've got a nice banner there. That could be your logo. Okay, could be a menu. So it's entirely up to you. And then let's bring in the button, an up state, okay, first. Now this button especially has to be converted to a symbol of the button type. Okay, registration, you can put it at the center. So let's name this button. And buttons have 3 states. Okay, so how do you edit the 3 states? Basically, once you've selected the button, look, the icon becomes different. Okay, it's no longer an image, it's a button. You double click on this panel here, and you can see there are 3 states. Okay, we'll forget about the hit for now, and right mouse click on the over state, put in a keyframe. Okay, that copies this frame to this frame, but for this frame we want the over button. Okay, so let's approximately, okay, to make sure that it's appropriate, right? So I'm gonna move this. Oh, okay. Move this slightly, delete that, and then move this back. Okay, make sure it's in the same location. Okay, so you use your arrow keys to transfer them. Let's also create another keyframe for that, and put in the down button. Okay, I'm going to press shift and then use that arrow key 3 times. Delete that, press shift, use the arrow key, select it, use the arrow key 3 times, so that comes back to the same position. Okay, now that our buttons are created, we're going to associate sounds with it. Okay, so with that selected, See, we have imported 3 sound files. Okay, we want the first file, say maybe bleep 8, okay, to be associated with that. Bleep 9 to be associated with the overstate. And when you click that, what happens is you play the metallic 5 reverse sound. So that's your button created, and it's there. If you click Control Enter to play it, okay, you have your button. Okay, but the screen, you know, the background isn't moving yet. Okay, in order to move the background, we need to understand a few things. Okay, we need to deconstruct the stage. So I have a prepared file here to explain to you. Okay, now this is the stage that I have. Okay, it's, you know, this is not in the right ratio, but it's 500 by 550 for the width and 400 for the height. That's the blue area is the stage area. And the stage, you have the right edge of the stage, you have the top edge, left edge, and bottom edge. Okay, remember that when we move our mouse across a certain boundary, okay, it moves the background behind that. And that boundary, okay, is defined, okay, as a variable called the boundary. I put it 100 pixels, so from here to here is 100 pixels. You can put more, you can, you know, so that you increase the boundary. Okay, so all the boundaries are the same. It's calculated, okay, from the left edge to the boundary, from the right edge to the boundary, and top edge and bottom edge. Okay, just one value, but calculated with 4 other variables. But once you move your mouse across over the boundary, something happens. Okay, I have a threshold value that calculates how far you are from this line. Okay, so the further you are from this line, the larger the value, right? And if you, because that's only 100 pixel here, if you normalize it by dividing it over the boundary, you get a value between 0 and 1. And with that value, you can multiply it with a speed. Okay, say my speed is 6 pixel, multiplied by 1 is 6. So if you're here, your speed of movement for the background is 6. If you're here, it's 3. Okay, and getting slower and slower. So that, you know, so that's what happens. Okay, if you move your mouse button after the boundary, it's slow, right? Move it further away, it becomes faster. That's the whole calculation. Okay, so and then you have the edge of the background, the left of the background, the, you know, sorry, that should be the bottom of the background, right of the background, and top of the background. Okay, sorry about that. And you define that as the top bound. So you have all these values. Okay, you deconstruct the stage in order to create a movable background. Okay, prior to that, I have already created a script, okay, called movable background. Okay, I'm going to copy that, and actually it's a document class. So if I put that name in, it will search the folder for that file, and I'm sure it will find it, because that, see, that opens up the file, okay, which is already here. Now this script is imports a few libraries, okay, movie script, you know, stage, display state, sprite. Okay, you probably don't need that, but we just let it be there. Events, so that's a class. Class called movable extends the movie clip because the background is a movie clip. So we have all the variables. That's for the mouse. That's for the movement of the, okay, the boundary, okay, and that describes the edges of the stage, and this describes, okay, the left of the background, right, top, and bottom of the background. Okay, then we have also have the speed of the movement, the threshold, okay, and we also define a button here, but we'll explain that later. So that is a constructor. Okay, if you follow all my tutorials, you will understand some of these scripts. Okay, I set up the information: left edge of the stage, right edge, top edge, and bottom edge of the stage, and that references, okay, these 4 lines. Okay, I also have the boundary, which is 100 pixel. It could be more. And the bounds. Okay, these variables refers to these 4 lines. Okay, and then I have a speed, initial speed of 6 and a threshold of 0. Okay, that's a button for later. And I add 2 events. The first event is the mouse move. Whenever I move my mouse, it calls the event listener, it calls mouse move. Okay, so whenever I move my mouse, it will call this function, and that tracks the target of the mouse location. Okay, basically put it into the 2 values. And whenever the frame enters, that's just a loop. Okay, whenever it loops, it will do these few things. Okay, so if my mouse is smaller than the left bound, okay, if my mouse is over this side, it will do this calculation. The first calculation is to see how far away my mouse is from this line. Okay, the second calculation is to check the left of the background, which is here, to see if the background has actually reached this edge. Okay, so that's what it does. Track the background left edge to see if it's over here. If it is, then stop. Okay, so if the left of the background is smaller than the left of the stage, that means if this background has not reached the edge yet, then continue to do this. What do we do now? Move the background according to the threshold times the speed. Okay, so you can set that as a speed, really. Okay, the right bound is the same thing, but because the right bound, you know, if you subtract target x from the right bound, okay, if you subtract that, you get a minus value. That's why I put an absolute value, so there's no symbol, okay, no minus sign behind that. And you do the same thing. Okay, you calculate the right side of the edge, and you make sure that the right side of the edge hasn't reached here before you stop. So you're moving, okay, the background. So let's see what happens. Okay, I've already applied that, and save it, and we'll have a look. Okay, there's a lot of errors. Why? Because